Think about the last time someone disappointed you. Maybe a friend cancelled plans. A partner did something that hurt. A coworker took credit for your work. And instead of letting it go, you spent hours, maybe days, trying to figure out how to fix them, how to make them understand, how to change what they did. That's exhausting, and deep down, you already know it doesn't work. Here's the thing most people never question. We've been taught that caring deeply means trying harder. That if you love someone, you fight for the relationship. That if something bothers you, you push back. But what if that entire approach is quietly destroying your peace and the relationships you're trying to save? There's an idea that sounds almost too simple when you first hear it, but once it clicks, it rewires the way you see every relationship in your life. And it starts with two words: let them. Let's talk about control, not in a therapy way, in a deeply honest human way. Because if you pay attention, most of your daily stress comes from one source: other people not behaving the way you want them to. Someone doesn't text back fast enough. Let them. A family member makes a choice you disagree with. Let them. A friend drifts away without explanation. Let them. That's not giving up. That's not weakness. That's something far more powerful. And we'll get there. Here's where things get interesting. Most of us believe that if we just explain ourselves better, if we push a little harder, if we get the right conversation at the right moment, we can change how someone feels or what they do. And that belief isn't born from arrogance. It's born from love, from fear, from desperately wanting things to work out. But here's the painful truth. You cannot control another person's feelings, choices, or behavior. You never could. And every ounce of energy you've spent trying to, it came from somewhere. It came from your peace, your joy, your sense of self. Think about someone in your life right now who's draining you. Not because they're a bad person, but because you keep waiting for them to change. You keep adjusting yourself, shrinking yourself, twisting yourself into someone easier to love or easier to manage. And the longer you do that, the more you lose track of who you actually are. The surprising part is that let them isn't about them at all. It's about you. When you let someone make their own choices, even bad ones, you're not endorsing the behavior. You're reclaiming your energy. You're deciding that your inner peace is not up for negotiation. You're drawing a line, quietly and firmly, that says, I am not responsible for managing your emotions, your decisions, or your growth. That's yours. And this is where most people get stuck. Because letting go feels like losing. It feels like you're saying the other person wins. But that's the trap. There's no game. There's no winner. There's just you, spending your limited time on this planet, either anchored to someone else's choices or free. Here's a thought experiment. Imagine two versions of you. The first version hears that a friend didn't invite them to a party. They spend the weekend replaying the friendship, analyzing every text, wondering what they did wrong, feeling that low hum of rejection. The second version hears the same thing. They feel a sting. That's human. But then they think, let them, and they go live their weekend. Which version moves forward? Which version stays stuck? What most people don't realize is that the moment you stop trying to control someone else's behavior, something unexpected happens. You suddenly have enormous amounts of energy you didn't know you were wasting. And that energy goes back to you, to your work, to the relationships that do feel good, to building the life you actually want. Now here's the second part of this, and this is the part people often miss. Let them is only half the equation. The other half is let me. Let me try the thing I've been putting off. Let me say no without explaining myself. Let me disappoint someone else for once, instead of always disappointing myself. Let me want what I actually want, not what looks acceptable, not what keeps everyone else comfortable. Because here's what happens when you spend all your energy managing other people's reactions. You stop living your own life. You make decisions based on what others will think. You shrink your dreams to fit inside someone else's comfort zone. You wait for permission, for approval, for someone to say you're allowed to go after it. Let me is permission you give yourself, and it's radical. This changes everything when you really sit with it. The let them mindset isn't passive. It's one of the most active, intentional choices you can make. It means trusting people enough to let them be who they are. It means trusting yourself enough to stop abandoning your own needs just to manage someone else's feelings. Relationships that are meant to be in your life will survive you letting them be themselves. And the ones that only work when you're constantly managing, fixing, and shrinking yourself, those answers are already there. You just haven't been ready to look at them. Here's a challenging question worth sitting with. How many of your current worries are actually about someone else's choices? How much of your anxiety is you trying to predict, influence, or soften what someone else will do or feel? If you're honest, it's probably most of it. And what would happen if you just let them? Not indifferently, not coldly, but with the quiet confidence that you are not responsible for carrying everyone else's life alongside your own. This is the real transformation. It's not that you stop caring. You actually care more clearly. You stop confusing control with love. You stop mistaking anxiety for loyalty. You start responding instead of reacting. You start choosing your battles and realizing most of them were never yours to fight. Come back to that moment at the beginning, the disappointment, the person who did the thing that hurt you. Now look at it differently. What if the most powerful response wasn't to push harder, but to breathe, release, and let them show you who they are. Let them make their choice, and then let yourself decide what to do next, from a place of clarity, not desperation. You are not responsible for other people's choices. You are only responsible for yours. And the moment you really believe that, something shifts. The weight lifts, the noise quiets, and for the first time in a long time, you feel like yourself again. Other people's choices are not a reflection of your worth. If this hit differently than you expected, drop a comment below. I'd genuinely love to know what landed for you. And if you know someone who needs to hear this, share it with them. Subscribe for more ideas like this every week. See you in the next one.